Okay, let's try that now. Thank you so much for that. Oh, that's one thing about live streaming. I've got everything set up. And then earlier, there we go. I'll cut that out later. Thank you so much. If you're watching on the supplemental seminary support page, okay, it will not show your name unless you give permission for it. And so I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. Let me see if it'll let me copy and paste this, hopefully. It don't want to let me copy and paste it, but well, if you're in there, just let me know who you are. Let me type it in. It's going to be chat and then restream.io/FB. All right. So if you're watching on that channel supplemental seminary support page, then you'll need to go to this link here to allow me to see your name. Okay. So we're using Restream, and let me start over. Thanks for joining me. All right. Thank you for the Facebook user that told me I didn't have any audio. Got everything else set up. Earlier, I was on another platform and it was taking my audio over there still. Well, we got that out of the way. And see, that gives a good example of what you have to do when it comes to church technology. It's not so much knowing all the technology, but it is being able to make corrections in real time. And that's probably a good reason and a good thing I did mess up at the beginning, because you're going to mess up. If you're working with technology and you're working especially on live streams and things are happening in real time and you can't go back and fix it after the fact, which you can after you post it, okay? But you have to stay calm, and you have to make the right decision in which corrects the problem very efficiently and quickly. Oh, hey, Greg Thomas. And I did get your message from earlier, and I want to get with you to elaborate on that a little bit. I've had a busy day today. But again, as we're talking, if you have any church technology questions, okay, when it comes to software, hardware, I got experience with all of it, some good, some bad. And so I wanted to come live on my Facebook channel, which is Supplemental Seminary. I wanted to come live on my YouTube channel. And also I have a support page I've created also that I post videos and those type of things. So we can talk about, as you can see behind me, I'm using a green screen. Actually, I'm using two green screens. I can show you that in real time. So you can see behind me, I'm using the Elgato green screen. Well, I bought one, and the thing about a green screen is you need a lot of real estate in order to pull that off. If not, you have to go in the program I'm in now, OBS, and you'll have to shrink yourself down, and you'll cut the picture down. And I didn't like that, so I decided, why not get another one? And why have one when you can have two for twice the price? See? So I've got two of them behind me, kind of a V shape. I can show you that a little bit more with the green screen this way. So you see I've got two, and you just pull them up. All right. And there's a couple things you can do with green screen. There's some I would recommend and some I would not, obviously. So let me get back over here on my main camera. So when I go back, I'm using a chroma key and I'm streaming from OBS, which I can show you that as well. That's the wrong screen. Let's see. Let me switch the screen real quick and I'll show you. See, I'm able to do this in real time. So you can see right now I'm streaming from OBS. Let me move myself over a little bit on the other side. All right, so I'm using Open Broadcaster software, which is something I think it'd be beneficial for a lot of people to learn, especially in churches. It is free, and I've connected, as you can see on the screen, I've connected Restream. And so I've used Restream. I've tried StreamYard. I like StreamYard. I like Restream too. There's kind of cons and pros on both sides. And then you're factoring in price and budget and that type of thing and functionality. But I like Restream for the fact of being able to take it in here to my OBS, and then so I can use the same audio. I want to use audio from OBS because down here on this little cog, I can add filters. And so, yeah, I believe you can see that. You can see it. See, I've got noise suppression on. And so that can eliminate a lot of the background noise. I also have a limiter on, and so that allows me not to clip. That is also an option. I could use the compressor, but I'm not. So you have a couple things working together. Number one, OBS streaming directly to 3 platforms right now, and then using the green screen. And then sending that out over these 3 platforms. So a lot of things go into being able to live stream. I mean, you can use your cell phone. I mean, I've got an iPhone 8 Plus. You can live stream with that. I would just suggest getting a, separate audio, okay, a lapel mic, or you could go the wireless route. That's an option. There's nothing wrong with that. Use the rear facing camera, has better quality. It's just like this iPhone now that's ringing that you got to go into settings and change it to record in 4K, 30 frames a second. So you can use the iPhone device. That's the cheapest, cheapest way. You gave $800,000 for this thing, so might as well use it, right? So you have the phone that can be used, all right? And use your device here. Also got experience in video using GoPros. That there, sometimes you have pastors that are hunters and things like that. You use a GoPro camera. You can use, you go the next step up. You can use a camcorder, which is a Canon Vixia RX something 800, I think it is. And so you do have the ability to use that. Okay. You can use that camcorder. I'll put those in churches. They work great. They're about $250 a piece. So you can, if you had a switcher, you could use OBS as a switcher, or you could use this Stream Deck. Let me show you the Stream Deck I'm using right now, which is this little device here, is how I'm able to change in real time the different angles. Okay. So I just press the button. I'm able to play the music and turn the music off and go back to my main camera and fade in and fade out and that type of thing. Also, you can add what they call stingers, and I could maybe, I'm not full with that right now. All right, let's see in the comments. It says only negative with Restream is the upload speed. I found the speed through their servers are less than through the streaming software speed. Okay. Yeah, the first time we used Restream, I was disappointed with the church. I don't know if it was an internet issue or what, but it was really lagging. Let me turn that music off. It was really lagging. I was really disappointed. I've experimented with it a couple times since then, like I am right now. Everything's an experiment. Experimenting right now, running through OBS. And so far, I mean, y'all would have to be the judge of that, of how well it's doing, is, that type of thing. Something else is when you're in here, you need 5 things to be able to successfully live stream. You need a camera, and a lot of your money is going to be in the camera. Like I said, use your phone, use a GoPro, camcorder, mirrorless or DSLR camera. Right now, through my main camera, this camera is a Canon EOS Rebel SL3. Okay. We also have the SL2, which is highly recommended. I'm taking an online course right now on videography, and they even recommend, it's a couple behind, but it shoots in 1080p. I think it may do 60 frames a second, maybe. But I went ahead and I was looking to upgrade. I got the SL3. My wife uses the SL2. They're similar. One of the main differences, the SL3, the main camera, which is what they call a DSLR camera. I'm using the kit lens that came with it, which is 18 to 55 millimeter. And then I'm running that using the Cam Link. Okay, I don't necessarily need the Cam Link if I use EOS software, but I haven't got around to that yet. And so I had the Cam Link. It's just easy, plug it in, HDMI, or you can also plug these cameras in a Canon with USB using that app. All right, so that's also. So let me know about the quality. You see, this is the Canon SL3. I did have a Panasonic Lumix G7, I believe it is. I'm pretty sure it is, and that's about $500. That's a good camera, but I was really disappointed with the autofocus, especially when what I like about Canon's products is they have awesome autofocus. And see the way that it took just a second, it did focus, and then if I move, it'll focus back on me. So if you're getting into a mirrorless or DSLR camera, let me show you that again. Let's see if it'll focus in on this pen. You'll give it just a second. It'll take it a second. It'll focus. Yeah, there it goes. So see, that's real important when you're choosing a camera. You want it to be able, if you're showing products, to focus in on that, and see, then it'll focus back on me. It's very quick. That right there is a big selling point with me. The Lumix G7 is a good option, but you should be aware, buyer beware. It is a good camera, about $500. It is a what they call a mirrorless camera, but it's a good one. But that autofocus meant a whole lot to me, especially in real time. And then with my wife's SL2, it wouldn't focus like that without disabling it. That's an upgrade from the SL3. Let me show you another one. Let's see what this does. This is a Logitech Brio. This is a 4K webcam. All right, so that has a good picture. I think it can get a little overexposed, which I have some software that I can, and actually, I better mute that. Hopefully you wouldn't get an echo through there. If you were, that was my fault. Because I had to disable the audio from the Brio right here. So right here, this is the Logitech Brio webcam. And it's got good focus as well. It focuses pretty quickly. That's a good camera. It's got like this real wide, kind of like a GoPro, a real wide shot. You can set it on 90 degrees, and that's the reason I kind of got it on a stand right here and just kind of give you a shot so you can see the green screen and my lighting. Okay, if you're doing green screen, let me help you out a little bit. You better realize that you need lights. I'm talking about, I don't have enough light on this green screen. If you're going to do green screen, you better make sure that that fabric that you're using is tight. And if you have an old green piece of cloth that you can get through Amazon, and that I've got one of those too, and you have one of those things, it is not, and it has a wrinkle in it, you're going to be in big trouble. You have to iron them things out. They have to be tight. They have to be stretched. And that's one of the reasons I went with the Elgato, because it's a fold up deal and it's ease of use. And it goes, you take it and you scroll it down, roll it up and put it in the case and set over on the side, especially the way I've got my studio set up. It worked better for me. So you can see the quality again. In a DSLR camera, I would recommend Canon products. I've tried to veer away from them, but Canon makes a good camera. Logitech Brio 4K webcam, Canon SL3, and there's the Brio. That's got good quality. That's a good quality webcam. They're coming out better webcams all the time, but that one's tried and true. So we talked about cameras. The next thing you got to talk about is audio. If you're going to be a successful live streamer and do live streams, you're going to have good audio. If you're doing it individually, I'm not pulling audio. Well, I was a little bit ago by accident from the Logitech, and I'm not pulling audio from my camera. Okay. Because the onboard microphone on that camera, the DSLR camera, and the Logitech Brio 4K webcam is not going to cut it. I'm just telling you right now. Before I'd upgrade my camera, I'd upgrade my audio. I'd use my cell phone. I'd use a GoPro. I'd use a camcorder, and I'd get good audio. You don't have to have this microphone and mixer and stuff that I have, but you can get away with a lapel mic if you don't mind a wired one that could go into your computer. You can get them cheap and I could recommend some if you'd like later. But just get that audio right. The audio you're hearing now is being processed in real time, which that's a big deal when it comes to live streaming. See, anymore, it's not so much about live streaming and church live streaming. Everybody's about doing it. It's more about doing it well. Doing it well. Set on your phone about 11 o'clock on Sunday, and I get notifications from different churches when they go live, and my phone's bing, 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 bing. All these churches are going live, and a lot of times I like to go through there. They're like all online at the same time. I don't know, we might need to catty corner those a little bit. You miss a bunch of them because they're live and they may not, keep them after the fact, or they're hard to find, or you don't think about it. But there's some I've learned a lot from watching other people. I've learned what to do and what not to do. Okay. One of the things that'll get people to turn away quicker than anything is the lack of audio quality. If your video quality is a little subpar, that's not going to be as bad as the audio being terrible and distant and echoey and reverby. You're going to have to get your audio game stepped up. I mean, that could be a USB microphone. If you go the route like I am, like the XLR microphone where you bring in through an audio interface, do that. But I mean, you can get a, you can get a USB microphone pretty cheap these days, getting cheaper all the time. So that's an option. You got to get your audio. If you're going from your church mixer, then there's a couple ways you can do that. And if you're interested later, be sure to let me know in the description if you're more interested in talking about how to get your audio from your soundboard into your computer. And then, of course, there's other ways if you depending on your setup, because I do talk about, small church setups. So I realize a lot of people have a budget or the lack thereof. I understand that. We could MacGyver something for you. I guarantee you that I could get you going real cheap. Okay. The main thing is that you're doing it and you'll learn as you go along, and we're getting the gospel out and we're reaching people and ministering to people. So that is very important right now. So you can get all those things worked out later. You're going to have to learn, but you can take your board, if you have an analog board, a mixer, and take it out through a auxiliary is what I would recommend. You can take it like a stereo out from your mains, but I would rather train you how to do it through your auxiliary if you got one of those type boards and you have more control over it if you're using an analog mixer. If you're using a digital mixer like the Behringer X32, or you're using the some of these other PreSonus or others digital consoles, mixers, then it's going to be a whole lot easier to connect directly to your computer. One of the things the other day, I was using a Mackie board, and that Mackie board has a USB out that just goes to your computer. So not only is it an analog board, but it's also an audio interface. So it's relatively, inexpensive. We're talking a $300 mixer, analog, a Mackie. It's not many channels. I think it's maybe 16 channel or less. But when we plugged it up, it has that USB out, and we took it into our computer via USB in order to bring audio into the computer. So that's the second element is audio. So we talked about video. We talked about this camera. This is a DSLR camera, Canon EOS Rebel SL3. So you can see the quality of that. And then this is the Logitech Brio webcam. All right, so that you can get an idea what that quality is from a webcam, which I think is very good. And then, but not as good, really, if you really get into this thing, it's not going to be as good to me. I can really tell the difference right here with the Canon SL3, but you don't have to, these webcams like this, they got good quality webcams. This webcam is right now, I know there's some new ones that's come on the market, but this is like the top notch Logitech Brio 4K webcam. even though right now we're in 1080p. Okay. So you got the camera. We talked about audio. Now the next thing, if you're going to do successful live streaming and so forth, is you're going to have good lighting. Okay. Let me show you again the lighting that I have right now, especially since I'm using green screen. I've got a light right there, which is lighting the green screen. I have what we call a soft box that gives good diffuse light out of that soft box, a smooth light that lights my face on this side. I have a bubble light right here that is illuminating this side of my face, and then I have another one of these on this side that's lighting the green screen. So that's 1, 2, that's 4 lights. So if you think you have enough lights, you probably don't. Okay. If you're getting a lot of digital noise, what we call a grainy type look in your camera, then the problem is that you don't have enough lighting. More than likely, you've got to have a lot of lighting, especially if you're doing green screen. Listen, if you're doing green screen, when I started doing green screen about a year and a half ago, I got so frustrated because, I bought some Amazon light kit, and you feel bad because you like 4 lights on that thing. And actually I could use a few more right now, but I need a backlight on me. Okay. To remove any spill or fringe along the edges that comes from the green screen. And that also has to do with distance too. So you got audio, video, audio, lighting is so important. The next thing you need, and I could preach this, okay, is a reliable business class internet if you can for your church. You need the high speed, the high speed you can get. I'm not talking about you got to spend some astronomical amount. I'm just saying don't run off Wi-Fi. If you got your phone, I understand that. Okay. But if you have a computer, you need to run a direct Ethernet line to that computer, and don't run off Wi-Fi. That's not going to be a strong enough, consistent signal there. So be sure to get that, get that Ethernet run, check on your internet, make sure, you're not back on dial up or DSL or something, and get you some good quality internet to stream with, because it takes a whole lot to do this, especially if you are looking to stream at a higher quality. Like right now I'm streaming to YouTube at 1080p. And let me show you on the screen now, OBS. Let me switch it over here, and I'll show you in the settings that you can see that when I stream, my output is over here. My streaming, okay, well, stream is here. Output, let me, okay, recording. It might not show it right now while I'm actually streaming, but one of the things I have done is increase my audio bit rate for every track. Raise that thing up to 320, the highest it'll go if you can handle it. Your internet connection, get the highest quality audio that you can get by increasing all of these. And then let's see, it may not show me now. I'm encoding. Oh, here it is. As you can see now, it's just kind of, light, but 1980 by 1080, 1920 by 1080. What am I talking about? 1920 by 1080. That should be one of your goals, to stream in a higher quality. And then you can see I've got the Rodecaster Pro chosen there. Okay. There was a couple things that I have switched out. And then you can see I have my audio right now, which I'm just now realizing that has been turned down. Oh my goodness. I might suffer for that later, and have to raise that in post, because I notice, like right now, see, I could bring this up, and earlier, there we go. Yeah, I was reducing. See, that's the thing about live streaming. I mean, there's a whole lot goes into this, and one little button, like earlier, I had dropped this down. So like, I'm like, look, let me turn that up. And so now I'm at a, safer, higher level that will be more consistent. So you really got to check some stuff. I do have this muted. So you can have, there's plenty of softwares out there. I like to use OBS. It took me a while to learn it, but let me take myself off the screen for a minute. As you can see over here, I have these scenes set up. So, I can change, back to the main camera and show this other screen here. And then I can switch. Okay, there's the Logitech Brio webcam. All right. So that allows me to do that. Let me bring it back, put myself. All right. So you see I have these scenes, and then correcting the audio, and then using Restream by connecting it in here as well allows me to be able to do this. And one of the things I like about a green screen as well is you can see on the screen that, there's other ways to do it. You don't have to do a green screen to do what I'm doing right now, where I'm in a box in the corner like this. Now, before, when I said earlier, I had one green screen, I had to like cut my arm off like this, like I'm disappearing, because it wasn't enough room. Like I'd have to cut myself here, and then I would have to cut it like that. So, if you ever dealt with green screen and, you're trying to tighten up, you need a bigger green screen if you can. So see right here, I can stretch it out and I don't have to cut myself off, short. All right. So that is, the thing about green screen is I'm able to, of course, if I move out of the boundary, you see I'm cut off right there. My arm's cut off, but I do have a more range. I actually can increase that a little bit if I use the right button here. If I hold down Alt and then I bring it out, yes, as far as it'll go there. So that's a little better. At least, that's going to happen. But what I like about it is around me, I'm able to point to things on the screen. If you're doing a tutorial or whatever, and, you're on the screen and you're not, like, this whole block from here to here would be totally taken out if I wasn't using green screen right now. In fact, I can show you that by disabling the filters. So if I take off the filter, then it looks like that. Okay. So you can see how much of the screen I would be taken up if I did not have using the chroma key. All right. So I enact the chroma key on OBS and I'm back. So you can see how the green screen helps in that aspect. Okay. It also has some parameters that you can set in here. Again, free software, OBS, Open Broadcaster software. And then we're talking about church live streams, or, even if you have a home studio that you'd like to set up. But in running through these, it kind of hopefully get some questions generated. We talked about cameras. All right. SL3, Logitech Brio, DSLR camera, high quality webcam. All right. Talked about audio. All right. You can see here I'm using the Rodecaster Pro, and let me show you that. Here's the Rodecaster Pro, and I'm using that right now as my mixer with onboard processing. And it is also a audio interface. So I got that plugged into my computer. I also use at times a channel strip, and I really like that almost a little better. It is the DBX 286S. All right. And I don't know if I'll be able to show you that or not. Let me move my coffee, is right here is the DBX, the channel strip, and here's the audio interface that I would use with it. All right. This is the DBX. I do have a tutorial on this on my page, and I've learned a little bit more about it. Sorry, that's not the best angle. That's the best I can do right now. But I like this channel strip as well. This will allow you to, this is would be more of an analog option. Well, it is an analog option that you could process your voice in real time. Because like right now I'm live streaming. I wish I could show you this, but I'd have to adjust the audio levels. But this thing's incredible. If you can't go for the Rodecaster Pro and drop the money for that, you can get the DBX 286S and process your voice in real time by using this device right here. Okay. But right now I'm using the mixer. So we talked to audio. Now we talked about lighting is so important. I'll show you that again, my setup. You can see all these lights. If you think you have enough lights, you don't. All right. There's the Canon SL3. So especially with green screen, you got to use lighting. That's an important one. And then we talked about also video, audio, reliable internet connection. You got to have a reliable internet connection. You know, upgrade it. If you, every church I've pastored, this is the second church I pastored, I had to go in there and upgrade the internet, which was like on a DSL internet, which was the going rate back in the day. But now, you know, there's a better class of internet out there. And a lot of times at church, you got to think in the business realm, business internet, fast. Make sure you have Ethernet run to your computer. Don't run off Wi-Fi unless you absolutely have to. I would not recommend it. Run a cable. In fact, in the future, if you want me to on this page, I can show you how to make cables for the Ethernet cables and so forth to run those. Be happy to do that if you're interested. So get that reliable internet connection. And then you're going to need software to be able to successfully live stream. You can use what I'm using here, OBS, Open Broadcaster software, and be able to switch back and forth in real time. That's an option. You can use StreamYard. I like StreamYard. You know, they kind of sponsor me a little bit here on my channel because I make tutorials on Stream. I like StreamYard. It's the most user-friendly interface out there, in my opinion. StreamYard. There are some, you know, you kind of have to take it. And then you have, like right now, I'm using Restream, and they have some functionality I really like and so forth. And then I got in on this, like this Christmas discount. I know right now they're running like a 20% discount as well. So you could get in on that for that software, but you got to put it, so everybody's doing different things. Remember, all these things are just tools. They're not something that, you know, they're all going to have pros and cons. They're just a tool in order to, a vehicle to get you where you want to go. So I wouldn't dwell sometimes people dwell too much on, you know, what kind of camera you have and this, that, and other. The main thing is that you're producing content and you're getting your message out and so forth. Use what you have, learn what you can. So those are the five, I think it's the 5 elements I talk about having a successful live stream. Okay, we see some comments coming in. Of course, during this live stream, I'm here for you. Okay, so if you have a question and of any of this stuff that I have, I started out a couple of years ago watching YouTube videos. I had twisted my ankle, so I was laid up for a while and started watching YouTube. Watched a guy named Steve Washer on YouTube, and he's talking about green screens like this one back here and so forth, and lighting. I got to watching him, and it got me thinking about, you know, I was like, I was always wanted to learn this stuff. And so about 2 years later, I'm really into this thing. So, yeah, so the comment now says, I have an analog mixer using interface with Canon camera. Okay, great. Plan on upgrading to 2 cameras, a Sony 64 and ATEM Mini Pro. What would you recommend for getting the best audio? Wow, okay, good question. The analog mixer, okay, using interface. All right, here's the awesome thing, okay? With that analog mixer, okay, you have an interface. Now, here's what's awesome, and I wish I had that hooked up right now. I actually have one, but it's behind me over here in the box because I'm not currently using it. I have the ATEM Mini. Now, it's not the Pro. I am glad to hear you are getting the Pro. I have just the plain Mini, and I didn't realize that when I got it, you know, the differences between ISO and the Pro. I mean, I was like, well, so I'm glad you're going to get the Pro. All right. So if you just get the ATEM Mini, I mean, you can do some stuff, but you're limited. Now, here's what I'd recommend is there's a couple ways to do this. Okay. The ATEM Mini Pro has awesome processing for their software. I love their software. You know, I wouldn't even need the Rodecaster Pro or anything right now. I could hook directly to, you know, I could take these 2 things out. I'm not going to do that right now, but take those things out and put in the ATEM Mini, which I have in the past, and run my audio through there. So, you know, Sony makes good cameras. Yeah, those are good. You don't go wrong there. I would suggest, you know, either Canon or if you can, you know, foot the bill, the Sonys. What would you recommend for getting the best audio? Okay. So the first thing is you want to come off the analog mixer. I assume this is maybe for a church, or if it's for you individually, is when I come off an analog mixer, what I've done for the churches I've set up for is we used to run it out of the stereo out. Okay. Unless, depending on your mixer, some mixers, as I was mentioned earlier, like the Mackie, some of the Mackies and some of the other ones, they're analog boards, but they run USB. Okay. Yes. Small church. Okay. Thank you. That helps me. So you will, some of the mixers, you can come out of them USB. In fact, we're doing that in our sanctuary right now, where our digital board had to be sent back under warranty, and we just plugged it into the computer. Okay. And then actually, it depends on how far you want to get in this thing. Let me tell you what you could do. Okay. All right. If you're doing this for a small church, you take the analog mixer, and what I would do, unless it was just like an audio interface, like the Mackie, come off of an aux out. Okay. An auxiliary. Most of them have, 4, 6 auxiliaries, depending on the board, and run it out of the board. It might be 1/4 inch or XLR. Run that to the audio interface, and then the audio interface into your computer. Now, one of the things that I tell people, when you got to be careful, okay, the Yamaha. All right, let me look that up right quick, because I'm familiar with Yamahas. Let me search. Let's see, Yamaha. Hang on one second. Let me look up that mixer. I'll show you in real time exactly how to do it. Okay, we'll look at the pictures, and that'd be a whole lot easier. And I can even draw on the. All right, Yama. Appreciate this question too. All right, this is what I'm here for. If anybody else has questions, be sure to let us know in the comments, and I'll help you. Okay. Oh yeah, let's see. Let me go to Sweetwater. And in fact, I can show you my screen right now. I don't know what I'm thinking. All right, let me switch it to, there we go. All right, so let's look this up. Yamaha. And that thing is, we just had, I think we had one similar to that. MG16 XU. Okay. All right. Yeah, do let me know if the one I'm bringing up, is this your mixer here? Let me move myself to the other side. I just want to make sure if this is this the mixer does that look familiar to you? Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure I got the right one. Let's see, MG16XU, that should be it. 16 channel. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's it, but let me know in the comments if it's not. I'm going to look at this while I'm waiting. Oh, awesome. Awesome sauce. All right, check this out right here. Oh, I'm in the way again. Let me move myself to the other side now. How about that? Okay. Check this out. You're going to like this. All righty. Let me find my pen here. Okay. With the mixer that you have, if this is the right one now, let me move something to check. Okay. If this is the right one, then you are in business. Okay, awesome. That's it. Great. I was hoping you'd say that, because check this out. Right here is the answer. It's USB 2.0. So what you will do is forget what I said about the auxiliary, okay? Because you don't need that. This is an audio interface. This mixer, this board is an audio interface. So actually, let me click around here. And so you're not going to have to, I want to zoom in on this front. Yeah, so you got your 4 auxiliaries. You could run it that way, but you don't have to. You got 2 stereo outs. You could run it that way, but you don't have to, because it's an audio interface, which is awesome. Okay, you got your USB 2 port right here, and it shows USB audio. Okay, And so if you have an audio interface, and you may have said that, let me go back and look at your comment again to make sure I understand. All right, using interface with Canon camera. Okay, so there's a couple ways to hook to it. Make sure I understood you correctly. Yeah, you can use it as an audio interface, and you may or may not already know that. If you do, that's great. But once you come out of that and you go to your computer now, you don't have to, but you could run it. You could run it through the processing of the A10 Mini Pro. Okay. I may have the software on here to show you the A10 Mini Pro. Well, see, I do, but I don't have it plugged up right now. There's the software, but you could, it depends on how fancy you want to get with it. You could come out using this as an audio interface. Okay. Right here, bring it into the computer via the A10 Mini Pro, and you could, run it through there and process it. You could add, compression, you could add a limiter, things like that. And then you could use the output of that for your live stream. If you really, really wanted to get that deep into it, you could. I mean, it's an option. You could plug, it'd be interesting to know what kind of software you have. One of the things I ran into the other day was hooking up the mixer. I got a little self noise. And what I mean by that is microphones make, they're low noise. Well, this one is anyway, but it still, everything creates a little noise, a self noise. Your mixer, your board, all that stuff, like inside components make a little noise. So you may hear a little hum or a hiss. And if you do, you could, depending on what software you use, if you use the A10 Mini Pro, you could put a low cut filter on it, and you could cut out those frequencies on the lower end, and it would take away that lower frequency hum or hiss or whatever you want to call it. Okay. So that's an option for you as well. All right. So hopefully that helped you. Of course, you can, ask more questions. I'm taking questions live right now. If you have any questions on any kind of church technology or, okay, if you run it using USB, how would you control it? Well, actually you would, now as far as bringing it into the computer, you would control it by, now you wouldn't have any parameters as far as like a software that I'm aware of. But if you can let me know what streaming software you use, that will kind of help me as well. Okay. Now, what would happen would be, and I just hooked one of these up. I hooked a Yamaha up actually it was a Mackie the other day, but we had a Yamaha, which was a 24 channel, kind of similar to this. And let me look over this board real quick. Okay, here's a couple things. If you want real, okay, you're using OBS and streaming to Facebook. Do you have an audio sync issue? That could be yes. Yes, you could. Yeah, if you're using OBS streaming to Facebook, you could. Like right now, I'm pulling audio from my mixer and then my camera separately. So what I've done, let me show you in OBS how to do that. Okay. Let me find the other screen. Actually, I have to switch the screen manually because I kind of messed this thing up. Let's see, that's supposed to be screen 1. So let me change that real quick. All right, let me make some changes in OBS. And okay, now we're straight. Okay. All right, I'm in OBS right now. Let me show you about the syncing issue. I would say you will. Okay. I'm messing up here. Let me move this back. Okay. All right, let me get this out of the way. All right, for the audio sync issue, what you would do is right now I'm running an offset myself, and hopefully I'm in sync. Okay, and I can show you a way to do that, like how to know how many frames you're off. So I go down here, this little cog, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, but go down this cog and go to advanced audio properties. Okay. Now here's something else. Be sure in OBS that you have this mono clicked. And if you don't, you only have sound coming out of the one side of the speakers. Okay. So be sure you have that one clicked. All right. Click that. You can see right now I'm running a 230 millisecond offset for audio, meaning that there's a delay of 230 milliseconds before it reaches the computer to solve the sync issue. So one of the ways I check that, and I'm not sure, you could let me know, we'll continue this conversation because you're asking really good questions. That what the way you can check this is record in OBS. Okay, I don't know if you do you do Premiere Pro or I don't say vMix. Think about the Mac, and I've used it too. I just went blank, but let me know what kind of software you use, if any, to edit after the fact. Okay, I know there's some free ones out there like DaVinci Resolve. Well, what you do is, and I do it in right here in OBS, is I'll hit the record button, and then I'll have my audio plugged up, and I'll clap like this. Oops, sorry about that. I'll clap 3 times, and then I'll take it over in Premiere Pro, and then I will open that up and then use my right and left arrow key, and I'll go one, because every time you hit the arrow key, you're going 1 frame, and then you hear the clap. When you hear the clap, you move the arrow when your hands touch together. All right, and then you sync that, and I think off the top of my head, I think it's maybe 30 milliseconds for every frame, maybe. So if you're like 5 frames off, times that by 30 or 33, I think it is. It's been a while since I've done it. But, you could search Google and say how many, frames, let's say how many milliseconds in a frame, and do the math on it and offset it. So that I would pretty sure, yeah, that's it. Final Cut Pro, another question. Also, can you help me with bit rate? I have 15 upload speed. Okay, now Final Cut Pro, I'm familiar with Final Cut Pro and OBS. Okay, and I'm familiar with sync issues, but one thing I'm not an expert at is the bit rate. In fact, I've been meaning to look into that myself. Right now, while I'm in OBS, I'll show you my settings. I was watching a YouTuber the other day, a gamer, and he was talking about the question you just asked there concerning the bit rate. I have mine at 25, was that kilobytes per second or something like that, as you can see here. But he was saying, you go and you will go, let me think a minute. You need to check your speed. All right. Check your speed and go do, like, let's go over here, and we go, you go to speed test. In fact, let me do it. I need to do it myself. Of course, I'm streaming right now. So, we'll do stream test and do this streamtest.net. That's not the one I use. Where are you? Speed test. Oh, I'll put stream test. Wow. It'll actually be speed test. I'm thinking stream. All right. So yeah, this is the one I use right here. Now we're getting somewhere. So you'll take and like right now, I'm pretty sure that, I'm, putting a load on our church internet right now. But let's see. Let me get this off the screen. Close that. This OBS window thing. There we go. And let's see about our upload, and I'll show you in real time what he was talking about. Okay, we're letting it go. Of course, it's not going to be accurate. I can see it's bogging it down because I'm streaming right now. All right, so this is an upload speed of 20 megabytes per second, so say 21. And he was saying that you take, that's one of those things I keep meaning to get around to, is he said you take, let's say 20, pretty much what he was saying is you want to do, let's see, you would times that by, let me see if I remember what he said. Times it by, let's try 0.7 maybe. That still wouldn't be the bit rate. I don't know. That's something I got to look into. But I was just learning about that the other day, and I wish I could help you more with that. I will say this, going back to my OBS screen, that in this screen right here, okay, I'm not high enough on mine. Okay. All right, let me see your next question here. All right, let's go back to the main camera. Okay. All right, so can you show me how I should connect my ATEM to the mixer? What slots and cables I should use? Okay, sure. In fact, I should get this audio properties thing to close out for me. All right, let me get some of this stuff off my screen real quick. I don't know why that, okay, clear that out. All right, let's go back to the mixer. Let's get your mixer brought back up here. And then I've got the chat. I'll bring it over here. All right, couple ways we can do this. Like I said, it depends on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go and how much granular control you want. I'm not sure about, let me look at this thing for a minute to see if there is a software to it. And if there's a software, that, of course, that would be very helpful. If you have a software to it, which I'm not sure about these analog mixers that dub as a audio interface, through USB, I'm not sure about that. But if let's say they don't, okay, what you can do is you got several options here, but I'll tell you what I would do. You can experiment with it. Is right in here, okay? Let me see if I can zoom in. This section right here is your auxiliaries, okay, that I would use. Of course, you got your monitor outs. This is a 1/4 inch, what they call TRS, 1/4 inch connectors. Okay, normally in churches, we run our floor wedge monitors off auxiliaries. So, for example, this one may be taken, and that's being used for your floor monitors. And then I've seen in a lot of churches, like the second one might be a nursery speaker, or it may be going out to another monitor somewhere. But you should have, hopefully you've got 2 left, okay, or at least one. Usually what I'll do is I'll skip one. And if you want more granular control over your ATEM and stuff, then I would come off this, let's say skip one and go, I'll draw this on the screen for you as well. Take auxiliary 4. That's going to be 1/4 inch. And I'm pretty sure it's TRS. Okay. 1/4 inch. Come off of that. All right. Now, when you go to the ATEM Mini Pro, you're going to have to use 1/8 inch connectors. Okay. Let me show you that on the screen as well, what I'm talking about. Let's go in here to Sweetwater. We would want one end to be, let's just type in 1/4 inch. 1/4" to 1/8" connectors. Okay. So one end needs to be 1/4", and the other end needs to be, of course, both male. Let's see. Okay, that's not it. That's not it. Now this is looking more like it. But let's see. Let's just use this one. All right, this one right here. Of course, you'll have to figure out which length you need, but just for the example. All right, this is, as I said earlier, TRS, which means tip. All right, we got the tip. Then we got ring. All right, then sleeve, TRS. Okay, male to 1/8". Okay, or they call, they're also known by 3.5 millimeters. Same thing. Same thing. This right here. Okay. So you have this one, 1/8" connector, 1/4". So coming off the auxiliary, and we're coming out of aux4. Okay. Come out aux4, 1/4", come into the back of the ATEM. Let me bring up the ATEM for you and show you. Let's go and just search for ATEM Mini Pro. On the ATEM Mini Pro, you're going to have, there's the Pro. Let me get some pictures brought up of it. Well, let's go to B&H photo. Do this thing real quick, whatever that is. That's the first time I've ever seen that. All right. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. That was weird. B&H just updated their website. All right. Let's zoom in on this. Okay. Zoom, 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 zoom. All right. All right. Here we go. We come off at 1/4" end, and the 1/8", which is the other side, which is right. Let's get rid of the speed test. Go to the mixer. All right. We come out of aux4, 1/4". And we're going to take that over. All right, other end is going to be right here, 1/8" connector. And you're going to go in, well, either one of these right here, either one. And, of course, that's one of the downsides to the ATEM. I mean, it's fine, but, 1/8" or 3.5 millimeter are not very common connections. But, with this one, you're going to have it. So one end, 1/4". And then let me show you something else. Okay, let's go back to the mixer because there's a lot involved in this. So let's start at the top. All right, once you're on auxiliary 4 on your board on this particular mixer, you need to find auxiliary 4, which might not, in hindsight, be the best. Be the best one to be on, and I'll show you why here in a second. If you're able to on this particular mixer, let me draw on this. See these, here's your auxiliaries. All right, right here, and here's your mains for the auxiliaries right there. Okay, right through there. All right, so there's your auxiliaries. Now, what I like about, see this button right here, these buttons, pre-fader, 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 across the board. You want to be on a channel, or excuse me, an auxiliary that has the pre-fader button. See, when you get down here to aux4 is also used as the effects, okay? So it doesn't have the pre-fader. Now, the reason you would want to, so if you can, see if you could free up on this particular board, hopefully you can get on, if you have to move somebody, and get on auxiliary 1 or 2. I'll tell you why. Because right here, let's say you get on auxiliary 2, okay, you need to push these buttons down, pre-fader. And what that means is when you change things, when you change things on the live stream, like as far as audio, in-house, when people are moving these faders, they're moving them up and they're moving them down. You don't want that to what we call the in-house mix. You don't want to, for your live stream and because it's different, people in-house are going to hear different than in on the live stream. So when they move this fader up and down, you don't want your live stream audio going up and down, okay? Because these control the main, you know, these all can go to the main stereo out, you know, is here. So you don't want that. All right. Now I'm going to tell you what I would do. Let me go up. Okay. Get on 1 or 2. If you have to use move somebody's monitors or something, get on the 1 or 2, and then, okay, push these buttons down. All right. Now, each button you push down is if you want it to go to the live stream. And well, really it's called pre-fader. It means when you push that down, the faders right here, the sliders or whatever you want to call them, will not affect the volume. Does that make sense? So push these down. Boom, 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 boom. You'd push them down for each one that you want to go out, you know, go to the auxiliary. So let's say use on auxiliary 2, you'd want to, you're going to have control over each channel now, but you're also going to have a main auxiliary, which is here for auxiliary 2. That's your overall. But then also you have the pre button also here. It does look like maybe if you were on 4, you know, it could work, but I'd feel a lot better with the knowledge. I know I'm no audio expert, but that's what I would do is put it on aux 1 or 2. Okay. You would control the output across that connection as far as your volume. Your master would be here if you was on, and we're saying you're on aux, let's say if you're on auxiliary 2 and you have the buttons pushed down, okay, what you want to go to the live streams, you don't want the fader to interrupt you, and you'd have your overall, so you got, you know, the control there, which it looks like aux 3 would be okay too, but you just don't have the button. But so this looks like, yeah, the master send is right here. So that would be the overall volume. Now you're going to have to make sure that each and every one that you know, because now you've opened up more granular control on your board. So like, you know, say you got your pulpit mic right here, you know, you're going to have to make sure that one's turned up for the live stream. If this one's a lapel mic for your preacher, what have you, make sure that one's, you know, adjusted. You know, you got different adjustments. So it's good, but it's bad in a way, because if you don't understand that, like say your piano's here, okay, that's probably going to be a little loud, have to bring that down. You know, if you have some other instruments on these and you want them to go to the live stream, you got to push the button down and adjust this. And then your overall volume for this whole line is right here. Okay. And then when you come, all right, like that wasn't confusing enough. I hope it didn't confuse you, but if you have any questions, just throw them in the comments if you need me to elaborate on something. But come off auxiliary 1 or 2. Okay. Push the buttons down. That's a pre-fader. So the faders, when they turn these up and down, does not affect the live stream mix. Okay. Push the buttons down and then come out of auxiliary, you know, one of these auxiliaries right here, 1 or 2. Come over 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch connector on the ATEM, you know, mic 1 or 2, be fine. All right. I wish I had my ATEM plugged up. I could show you in the software. And then, of course, once you get in the software, another thing to think about is, okay, like I said, a lot of people just want sound. They just want volume. Then other people want like real, if you're like me, I want a little fine tune, you know, like perfection. And that's fine too, because that's all me. But once you bring it into the software, then, you know, there's a couple. Now here's a tip that just hit me. Okay. If you go, now this get a little confusing in a way, but if you don't want the offset of audio and video, one of the ways you can do that is this really would get confusing. Don't go from the auxiliary 4 to the camera, okay? And then out of the camera, HDMI to the ATEM, plug it into one. And the thing about HDMI is it carries both video and audio, and you wouldn't have to sync it, in the program. Also, in the ATEM Mini, software does give you an offset. Of course, you have to know how many frames you're off. So you have several options. You could go from the board to the camera to the ATEM through the software, through OBS, and making, those changes across the board. You could take the board and go directly to the ATEM through the mic 1 and 2, mic 1 or 2 right here. That's an option. Okay. So if you kind of let me know what your thoughts are on that, I could, I'd be happy to. I'm just kind of throwing some ideas out there too to kind of solve some problems along the way, because that's what this stuff is for. The hardware, which a great thing about the ATEM Mini is, and it has its, limitations as well, but it takes when you're streaming, it takes the load off your computer. And then too, it is, you start buying these audio interfaces. See, this is an audio interface. So you can plug up to 4, which it just came out with a bigger one. I'm not I'm not getting any deeper than I am right now. But this one, 4 inputs, okay, then an output for a monitor, you can monitor that type of thing, then USB out, which is, you can make it, this would be recognized as a webcam in your computer. All right, so it says, would this cable be the right one? Okay, let me look that one up real quick on the screen in real time. And if anybody else has any question, you name it. I've done Final Cut Pro, I've done Premiere Pro, OBS, StreamYard, Restream, microphones, cameras, podcast, you name it, green screen, okay, lighting, audio, whatever. If you need help with your church technology, be sure to let me know. I'll break it down. I mean, there's stuff you don't have to get in so deep as I did. I mean, it's something I enjoy, but I don't expect everybody to nerd out on it like I do. All right, let's look at that particular cord, which is TISINO, 1/4 inch to XLR cable, nylon braid 1/4 inch stereo jack. Let's see here. Now, if you go into the let me know if did you find it on Amazon maybe? Now, you say the cable be the right one, 1/4 inch to XLR cable, nylon braid 1/4 inch TRS, stereo jack to male XLR balanced intercord. It kind of cut off there a little bit, but you don't need the XLR. You need 1/4 inch. No, excuse me, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch. In fact, if you let me know what links you need, I'll send you a link. I'll put it in the chat. Let's see, you want 1/4 inch. Yeah, just let me know what links you need. 3.5. No, not an adapter. Cable. Yeah, there we go. So you need this right here. I mean, any of these, they're just, I don't like the ones that, kind of have the cloth on them, but I mean, it don't matter. Like, for example, this one, this is what you need. See that the 1/4 inch, yeah, you had the right. That might be the one you brought up, but you want 1/8 inch, the small one. That'd be kind of like your, phone or device like that, you know, it's kind of like my headphones here, 1/8 inch, 3.5 millimeter. All right. And then plug that back in so I can hear myself. And then 1/4 inch, yeah, TRS. Basically got 2 rings on them. Okay. 1/8 inch, yeah, the 1/8 inch TRS stereo to dual. Okay, that's I think a splitter. But this particular one, 10 feet. Okay. 10, you need 10 feet. Okay. This one is 10 feet. There we go. Okay. This one looks a little better in a way. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, I've used these before. You can kind of see in the, the description of it, the 3.5 on the screen right there. You can see it's going to PC, your phone, tablet, MP3 player. And then this is going to, you see you got a mixer right there, speakers, amplifier. So this is a good illustration right here. All right, 1/4 inch TRS to the mixer, auxiliary. And then right here, the 1/8 inch to the ATEM. Okay. So let me, I'll send you that link. Let me copy and I'll put it in the chat. What if it'll let me? It won't let me copy and paste. I don't like that. It won't let me copy and paste it. I don't know why. Let's try it again. Text, get link, copy. And then we come over here and we'll paste it. Okay. Well, maybe not. Maybe I can paste it. I'll tell you what I do. You're watching on YouTube. I'll go over here to my YouTube channel and put it in the chat over there. Let's go to my YouTube channel and go to my channel, go to my live stream right now, and I'll put it in the chat here. How about that? So, all right, let me put it right there. It is. Hi. How about that? I went around Restream and put it in there. Another one that would work would be, let's see here, let me back up one. You could use that one, or you could use this one. This one right here, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's like $7.85. Actually, it looks a little better to me. Let me send you the link to that one. Copy, paste. All right, so here's 2 options for you right now off Amazon that would work for you. Okay. Oh, I see my comments now where I put them on there. So I guess that's something else I learned, that it won't let you do that. All right, so that'll get you going, and there's really several ways. Try to give you several options, because there are a lot of options that you have that you could use in your particular situation. Okay, but since you're adding the ATEM, that is another step, which I know why you're doing it, because you got 2 cameras and you want to be able to to do this, go from one camera to the next like that, switcher. So, and you don't have to go out and buy all those cam links and stuff, because this is, it is a cam link. I mean, well, it's Black Magic, but it has the 4 inputs. So there's a couple things to think about. You could, mixer, you could come off the mixer. You could bypass. See, there's so many ways you could do this, depending on what you want. You could get your audio from the mixer via USB. and completely bypass the ATEM, bypass it, okay, is an option. And then you go in OBS, you could bring your audio in from the mixer directly and then bring your video in, then fix the sync in OBS that I showed you how to do that, sort of. Okay. All right. So bring my windows back up. It just disappeared on me. Okay. So you could bring up everything. There it is. I'm back. Okay. So you could, go in here and go to, advanced audio properties and set an offset. Okay. Most time about 230 will get you about where you want to go, and you just kind of go from there. I would add, if you need more, keep adding in increments of like 33 more. That's a frame, 33 more a frame. If you're a couple frames off, add 30, 60, 90 to it. 33 times 3, 99, whatever you got to do to fix that offset. That's an option. Or you could go, if you don't want to, all right, let's go to the second one. Then you could go from you can come off the auxiliary if you want more granular, fine tuning control. And you could take it from the, right here, your aux 4. Aux 2. Remember we talked about that. Auxiliary 2 right there. Okay. Auxiliary 2 right here, or 1 or 2. Push the button down, as I said. Come off, that's your main, and all that does is control the auxiliary. Only controls the live stream audio, so that comes off 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch, going to the ATEM. Another option you have coming, and I would use it. If you have the capability, use it. When you go in the ATEM software, let's just let me software. If I can just show you the picture. Whoops, not videos. I want to show you here it is. Okay. Is what it'll look like. I want that. Switcher view. I'm not worried about that. Of course, it does green screen too. I don't worry about that. That's camera control. All right, here's your audio. So what you would do is, if you were coming in, like you'll be coming in mic 1, for example, you got your gain control here. So it's a lot of parameters. That's probably a good way to look at it. You bring in 1. If it's too hot coming off the board, you need to go back to your auxiliary, turn it down. If you're not having a big enough signal coming in, you're going to have to adjust on the auxiliary main and do a little fine tuning, pulpit mic, lapel mic, wireless mic, piano across the board for each channel. Then bring it into mic 1, and you got a gain control here. Now this section, this is the audio offset that you could use, coming into this thing. And that would be easier than doing it the way I'm doing it, because they got it where you bring up the software and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames or something like that. And then you got your volume here, and make sure you turn that on, by the way, because if not, you're not going to get anything. And then that's going to come out of the out. So the master, but before you get there, you can add the equalization, which is, the different frequencies. Then you have you can add, let's see if it shows. Yeah, you got the dynamic you got the parametric equalizer you could use if you want to remove frequencies. You would never, the way these lines are, you would never do that much. If you got that much, something's bad wrong. But over here, you got like the expander, the gate, the noise gate. And I'm pretty sure that would help you with the gate to eliminate noise. But you really want a low cut filter. Oh, that's over here on band 1, low cut filter. That's going to cut out them lower frequencies. So definitely engage that and set it to about 50 hertz. It comes default at 46. That's okay, but I'd raise it to 50 because there's no data in the human voice really that, in that range. We the voice is a wide range, but there's nothing below that. That's rumble. That's no background noise. That's the sound of your fan and your computer and stuff like that. But anyway, all right, then you go over here to the dynamics process, and then that's where you can really increase that quality of that audio. I'm telling you, it's awesome. I wish I had mine hooked up. Next time I go live, I'll try to have that. And it's then you can add your compression, you know, to get your volume louder, but not by clipping. You know, you got makeup gain and then the limiter, so you never peak. I see in the comments you said this is a cable of friend recommended thoughts. Okay, let me look that one up real quick on Amazon. And that is a ISNO 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch. Oh, it's like a breakout cable. All right, let's put stereo breakout cable 10 feet. Hopefully I can get the same one. All right, this one that came up. Yeah, see, the one that your friend recommended is a mono. Okay, now that's something. Now that is a possibility now. But by being mono, like if you go with this one now, well, actually, you'd have to no, that wouldn't be right. You'd have to have 2 1/8 inch. You know, that one would have to be the one to break out, and this would just be single. If you was coming out your stereo out, you would use that one. But coming out of auxiliary, you need this one. You know, this one right here that has 2 rings for the 1/4 inch, and then 2 rings for the 1/8 inch connector. Okay. If you're coming out of the auxiliary now, if you're coming out of the stereo out, which would be right here, stereo. Let me zoom in on that. You know, you got a left and a right here, a 1/4 inch, but you're going to lose all that granular control. I mean, that's fine. It's a lot of ways to do this. It depends on what you want. But you could take that split out mono cable, you know, where you could put that one in the stereo, you know, the left and right. Now here's another option. You know, you got your mains here. Just forget what I said about the auxiliaries if you go on this route. And then go to, well, actually you could use those too, but let's keep it simple. Take left and right, which would be a mono. You don't have one ring. Okay, that cable we just looked at, which is this one. Okay, this is just a 3 foot one. Okay, you could come out of the left and right with that one, and then on this end would go to the ATEM. So there's another way to do it, but by doing that, I mean, that's fine, but I just want to let you know that when you do it, if you're coming out of this one, now if you're coming out of the monitor, you know, you could control it here. If you go the left and right on the monitor out, you could do that. And you would control it here. Or if you go the stereo out, 1/4 inch, put one end here, one end there, 1/4 inch, and then run the 1/8, then, oh, okay, I see. You were already coming out of aux 3, so we wanted to keep using aux. Okay. So, you know, you could go, but if you went that route, let me finish this real quick, is just for anybody else just looking for an option. But see, when you move that slider right there, it's going to affect the live stream, okay, audio. So if it's in-house, if you really want to do it right, use auxiliary, which would be the links, the cables that are above, to use those, okay? All right. Any more questions that anybody has about, you know, connecting your mixer? I know that's a big one. Connecting your mixer to your computer. If you really want to live stream, you know, well and do it right, I mean, you could, and you want to hook to your analog board or a digital board, that would be the way to go. That way You could get an individual, let's say lapel mic that's on your shirt, but when, and go into your phone. But the problem is we got to think different when we're live streaming, because everybody out there has got to have, it's got to be mic'd. Everything has to be mic'd. Now what you can hear in house when somebody doesn't have a microphone cannot be heard on the live stream. Congregations, choirs, individuals have to be mic'd if you care to do that. If you're looking to level up, you could say, well, they're at home. And I mean, that's fine too. If you feel that way, they don't need to hear anything, but I kind of want to make it to where people it's just like they're in the room. So you have to keep that in mind and be more conscious of the fact that things are working well. Oh, you're more than welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I would stay on that auxiliary. If you have any problems, reach out to me. Go to my website, supplementalseminary.com, and on my contacts page, or either you can reach out to me here on YouTube. But for probably more detailed, it'd be better to email me and I'll help you any way I can. And then if you need help later for your individual, if anybody's out there, you need individual coaching, we can do an online session if you would like to have a one-on-one contact with me, and we could work out your particular situation, because all of our situations are different. We have different equipment, different budgets, different locations, different challenges. You might have a low ceiling. That introduces a lot of challenges in your church. There's all kinds of parameters, not one size fits all. If you say, what's the best camera? Well, it just depends on your situation, really. I've been through a few of them just to kind of find what works for me and what I like. There's preference, there's budget, there's functionality, there's little, parameters that you may like or dislike. So, I'm looking at the comments right now. I'll be available here just a little while longer. So if you're watching, I see we got a couple on YouTube. I appreciate those who are subscribed to my channel. And anytime you can let me know what kind of tutorials or videos that you would like. One of the things I can show you now is, let me show you my other screen, not my OBS screen, but my other one, and go to my YouTube channel. And it's so important, if you're following somebody on YouTube, that you let them know kind of the videos that you're interested in, because, this is my most popular uploads where I've got some playlists now. And I also want to introduce you to a new page that I have created that I think you might be interested in. And let me take you to that one, which is, let me switch my account, is one I have called Supplemental Sound. Okay. And Supplemental Sound deals with all things sound for churches, which is also apply for anybody else in general too. Especially, I've got two here. I've got my video on connecting StreamYard with the Rodecaster Pro. And then I have a new video that I'd like for you to check out, which is StreamYard, connecting StreamYard and in real time processing your voice with the DBX 286S. And then I'm talking about here just about having a microphone in general. So I'm going to put all my sound things on this page, because there's some people interested in that and there's some people that's not. And then more on my Supplemental Seminary page. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Let me hit that button again, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as you can see, I talk about a range of different topics, trying to find my way. I talk about, like right here, this mixer we installed in our church. I talk about live stream setups. I talk about OBS software. I talk about streaming. So I kind of have it, the Rodecaster Pro, the A10 Mini. I talk about the microphones, and I'm real surprised too that one of my my most popular uploads have to do with church bulletins. And I would think, and more people are watching those videos here recently. Let me show you my analytics. And what I was getting at is, what YouTubers do is they create content that kind of goes from their analytics, if they're not sure like what their audience is interested in. And so, I get about, as you can see, I'm getting about 100 to 200 views a day, which is pretty good for a small YouTube channel. And I think, and so you see in the last 48 hours, thank you for whoever just subscribed a little while ago to give me 251 subscribers. I appreciate that. My goal is to get to 1,000 and have 4,000 watch hours so I can be monetized on YouTube. my ads. Let me move myself to the other side of the screen real quick and make myself a little smaller so you can see my analytics. And you may be interested in, starting a YouTube channel. As you can see here with monetization, I've got 251 subscribers. I need 1,000 subscribers. And then you need, which this is hard to get, anybody that's ever done it, is to get 4,000 watch hours. So I've got about almost 1,500 watch hours. I've actually got more watch hours than I have subscribers. That's crazy in a way. So you look at my analytics, my top videos have to do with audio. So you can see the reason this is audio, this is audio, this is audio, this is StreamYard, this is audio, church bulletins, live stream, StreamYard, live streaming, acoustical foam, and church bulletins. That's kind of interesting. Okay. And then I go to, you look at the ones back up here, you can see like in real time, it's pretty neat. You see, I get pretty good, decent views. You can't go in this thing and think, wow, I'm going to just, have 1 million subscribers and all these people watching. You're going to have to, and this is a good thing too, getting impressions and watch time. And then again, you can see, people suggesting videos. So if you ever have something you'd really like me to talk about, and then this is a good little metric right here. This is awesome. That'll help you if you're looking to start a YouTube channel, especially, for your church or what have you, is right here. It shows you key moments that you kept people's attention watching after like 30 seconds, which is good. Then continuous sections. And I'm surprised right here, I kept people's attention for 6 minutes and 42 seconds by talking about how you mess up on live streams and stuff. That was kind of interesting. Then you got, your spikes. So when people really honed in and started listening to what you had to say, and then times you dip, you lost their interest and, they left. So if you haven't subscribed already, I'd appreciate it. If you do that, that helps me. And then if you ever have any ideas about what you would like me to make content on, okay, dealing with church technology, because there's so much to learn now. There's just so much, there's so much of a learning curve. So if you have things that you're interested in, be sure to let me know in the comments below. So I'm going to stick on here just a little bit longer, see if there's any more questions that anybody has when it comes to graphic design, audio, video. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel or like I did, I've got this channel that I'll deal with all things church tech. But then, if it has to do with audio, I'll put it on my supplemental sound page. So be sure, if you haven't already, to visit that page and subscribe as well. And then I'll talk all things church sound, small church sound solutions. So anything that has to do with sound in the church. Okay. So, or home studios, we put some cables together later. And then I've also, on that channel, I've also cross-posted these other videos as well. So you have my other YouTube channels, and then our church YouTube channel that I pastor and preach. Okay. So that's something else you can check out. So we appreciate it. And anytime, for something you're interested in, of course, be sure to visit my website. I'll show you that now. And you can find resources there available, or you can find resources there also. Go to my my website, supplementalseminary.com. And what I talk about is anything that has to do with audio, technology, I should say, small, church solutions and technology solutions. So you can see here, I've got, my one YouTube channel, and I kind of fooled around with a podcast there a while too, experiment with that, which I may get back to that later. And then, up here, I've got this gear and resources page, but it is severely outdated. I've got to upgrade that. There is some good equipment in here, but there's others I would recommend now because things are constantly changing. And then the pandemic really changed this. I've got my podcast. I got a couple podcasts you may be interested in about, the importance of audio. And you can also find those on YouTube if you want to watch the video podcast, which is something I'd recommend. I also do web design as well. So you can see that there's several church websites, okay, that I have built, including our own and our Bible college and landscaping. And there's some others I hadn't put on here. I got my pricing and stuff available if you're interested in that. And then if you want to reach out to me, you can contact me on the contact page and talk to me individually about a particular situation. And then I'm getting ready to upgrade this sign up. So don't sign up right now. I need to fix that. Okay. But be sure to reach out to me and also if you want kind of a little more personal touch, you can go to Facebook. And if you go to and you search for Supplemental Seminary Support Page, is a Facebook, a private page in there as well that you can go into. And, I try to post in there about little milestones and stuff like that. So that's something you can, you can ask questions in here, which I haven't had anybody. Is really amazing that it's hard. It's very difficult to get people to ask questions. That is something that really was shocking to me. But so you can go to that page. I've got an open page also for Supplemental Seminary. So you got the group page. Another group page is Supplemental Sound. Okay. It's just like I was talking about, we can discuss things in here. And then the next one would be, there's 3 of them: Supplemental Seminary open page, and then there's Supplemental Seminary page, support page, which if you go in there, I will, accept your invitation. And then there's Supplemental Sound, so you can join me there as well. Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody on the stream and being able to answer some questions. I like to do this again, and if it's helpful to you, a better time would be better for you. Be sure to let me know, and we'll discuss some things. And like I said, even in the description of this video, and I've got some links down there of some of the equipment that I use if you're interested in order to pull all this off. Be sure to look down there. And then also, if you want to reach out to me on my website or what have you, and if you have any ideas or comments or suggestions, be sure to leave those in the description below. And in the meantime, this is David Toller with Supplemental Seminary, and we'll see you in the next live stream.